All right, everybody. We are live with CloakedTreasure. I've got my Goonies t-shirt on. I'm Mike. I am one of the co-founders of CloakedTreasure. And you might have already seen Greg in a previous video. Greg is one of our other co-founders, and he was the one with the original idea. Welcome, Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So this is kind of our first time live streaming. Hopefully we won't have too many technical difficulties, but this is an opportunity for us to maybe speak a little more directly and answer a few questions as we reveal the hint 2 for stage 4, which has got quite a bit of Discord and chatter. So that's been fun so far.
Yeah. If you haven't joined Discord, speaking of that, there's some fun discussion going on out there. We're answering some questions that we might not put on Facebook or the website. So Discord's free. Go ahead and sign up. The link should be, I believe, on the website. I'll also monitor the chat for the live stream today. So if there's anybody that has questions, we do have a quick Q&A session at the end, and I'll add those in. We should have a good time. So, Greg, before we get into stage 4 clue, give me your thoughts on stages 1 through 3.
Yeah. So, stage 1, I thought went off really, really well. It was kind of exactly how I had it planned. I thought it would be fairly tough with the cipher. I thought the hints would lead people along, and I think a lot of folks were really close on it. I think that one took 2.5 or 3 weeks to solve, which I thought was really good. And there were some good comments about it. We got some feedback on Discord and through some other channels. So I really liked where that one went. Stage 2 and 3 were a little bit too easy. And that was by design. We wanted folks to have some success early and frankly, make sure that this whole operation is not a scam. I was hoping it would be 4 or 5 days or longer than that, just to kind of give people a chance to get their teeth into what the coin and what the riddle meant. But that's okay. They get harder from this point forward. So overall, I think stages 1 through 3 went pretty well. Obviously, from our perspective, looking at maybe doing another one of these next year, we're really hoping to get our registration numbers up. So hopefully folks online enjoyed those stages and are telling friends, because we really do need to grow this if we're going to do another one of these next year, which we certainly want to do.
Yeah, we had some really great feedback from the hunters, there's seekers that's through Discord, through email. We've gotten some great. This has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys doing this. So, I'm excited about their excitement. When you and I talked about this 5 or 6 years ago, I think we were probably in Yellowstone, or maybe that was when we climbed over out in the Sierra Nevadas. I'm like, this sounds great. I really can't wait to do it. And then COVID happened and everybody couldn't touch. And all of a sudden we're like, let's do this thing. And it's been a ton of fun. So right. It's great seeing that kind of excitement from people. And I'd love to get more people out. We have an amazing state. It's beautiful. There's a lot of places to go. So getting people out there is, I think, just going to get more and more people to join in the fun.
Yeah, and a couple of things you mentioned there. I think the person that solved stage 2, I believe that was his first trip out to the Little Mac Bridge up on the Manistee River, which really is, if you haven't been there, it is a beautiful trail system. Great place to backpack, but also great place to just day hike and visit. And then, one of the notes we got from stage 3 was, I'm sitting here with my father-in-law with a black light, looking at a book, looking over our shoulders to see if anybody's watching us. And that's kind of what we were trying to develop with this, is that sense of intrigue and sense of adventure that permeate kind of our culture with movies and books and storylines like the Goonies and Indiana Jones, etc.
Yeah, he even mentioned feeling a little bit like Indiana Jones doing that. So
right.
We got through the first 3 stages. We are on to stage 4. We've already had an original clue, and we've already had 1 hint. So this is the clue, the hint number 2 for this. Right. But let's talk about the original clue for stage 4. We'll pop that up on the screen right now. I thought it was really cool. It's got this old time feeling. It's something that Nick Cage would find in National Treasure or something. And reading the clue, it looks like it leads you toward a barkeep, a draft, and a vintage. So kind of the where, the what, and the when. What was your, I guess, what were your thoughts behind like how that clue worked out and what it's pointing you to?
Well, the first three were, I guess, what I would say pretty linear stages. We gave a very limited amount of information. The coin was a really good example. Everything on that coin for the most part was used to get you to the next stage. You had to know the street address. You had to know M1 was Woodward Avenue, that you were looking for a library call number, et cetera. So you kind of used all that information. And so you got to think linearly. With stage four, we were not that nice. So the stage four clue is, I think, just over 150 words. And the job of the seekers here is really to comb through everything that's on that page and try to figure out what matters and what doesn't. And there's a lot there. So I think I had somebody ask me if the edges of the page mattered. We've had folks that have been keyed on the word safe harbor. We've had the pyramids, we've had cellar and root, but there's lots of other terms in there as well. There's the second word master. Did I pick that on purpose or is that just superfluous? And that's what makes this really challenging because it's not a linear, hey, I just need to figure out what this sentence means.
Yeah. A plus B equals what? Well,
yeah.
C.
Yeah.
Right?
So this one is you have to be really, we were expansive in the clue. It's the seeker's job to be redactive and try to weed through that and decide, what pieces of information will get me to, as you mentioned, the what, the where, and the when.
Yeah, it does remind me of the national treasure on the back of the Constitution, right? And they're reading these words. It's like here at the wall, and they're like, oh, Wall Street, and like the spellings are different and unique and whatnot. And it kind of gives me that Nick Cage national treasure vibe with like, all right, what about this matters, right? Because not everything mattered in the thing that he was looking for either, right? They had to find those specific things. So definitely gives me some national treasure vibes.
Yeah, and for folks familiar with the term cognitive bias and red herring, this is just rife with them. So there's lots of things that don't matter, and there's lots of things that you can key on and say, I've got it. This has to be it. And you might be right, and you might not be, because there's certainly a lot of different directions to go with this one.
Yeah. And then we had the first hint was a little bit shorter, a little bit more to the point.
Yeah, so we can switch over to that. And with the clue being so expansive, we got initial feedback right off the bat of folks kind of traveling all over the state. I think we had people in kind of the four corners. So the Detroit area, the Union Pier, South Haven type area down in the Southwest. We had Traverse City. And then I think we had some people up on the Lake Huron shore looking at various wine cellars and breweries. And well, I think that's a lot of fun. I recognize not everybody can, just drive around the state for 2 weeks to go search for something. So really the first clue was not really planned this way, but after I saw some of that feedback, the first clue is really just to be straightforward and tell you, hey, where latitude 43's line is in Michigan, you're south of that. Yeah. So it sort of cuts the state in half. And we thought, we'll be very upfront about that here in the live stream. And just if you hadn't gotten there quite yet, or you thought it might have meant something else, that was the main purpose. And I'm not going to tell you that's the only purpose in this hint. And there might be some other little Easter eggs hidden in there. But the main purpose was to tell you, your search area needs to be latitude 43 and south.
Yeah, don't go up to Mackinac City for this. Go up there because it's beautiful and you want to do some fun stuff, but not for this, right?
Yeah, and kind of on a side note with that, there is a brewery in the Portage, Kalamazoo area that is known as Latitude 42. And I realized a lot of people have either gone there or called there thinking that was the right where. Yeah. So it's not. So there's the one piece of definitive information in addition to the latitude 43 line. And that's a good idea. People are on the right track because, 1 under 43 is 42. That's a brewery. This is starting to make sense. But that's not right. That's the cognitive bias. So don't.
Speaking of red herrings.
Right. So don't call latitude 42. Go there again because the beer's good, the food's good, the atmosphere is a lot of fun. not because you're going to find stage four's answer there.
Yeah.
And then one other thing I do want to mention is this is kind of a boots on the ground operation. So I've gotten a number of questions. A, can we call the place? And B, I live in Traverse City. I'm pretty sure my solve is in Detroit. Can I have my uncle check, or a brother, or a old college roommate? So I wanted to address both of those. And the first is with stage four, the establishment we're working with is completely and totally in cahoots with us on this. So they know not to give it up over the phone. So if you're calling a bunch of places and asking them if they know anything about X, Y, or Z, even if you call the right establishment, you're going to get I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I can't help you. So I'm sorry to share that disappointing piece of news for folks. And then the second one was around, can I have someone else? And the answer to that is yes. You just want to make sure you trust them. Only registered users can collect the prize. We do write checks for this. You're not finding a gold coin and running off with it. We do write a check to an actual subscribed user. So if you have your roommate or a college buddy or brother or sister, whatever it happens to be, go do that for you. That's fine. You'll just be the one that claims it. And then you have to fight it out with them on how you're splitting the funds. So good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, I think our previous solver said, "Hey, I'm going to direct deposit this, remote deposits through with his bank because he wanted to frame the check." So we will be writing actual checks for this stuff. It'll be pretty cool. So if your bank has that kind of like remote deposit type of thing, you want to frame it, dude, that sounds great.
It's fun, yeah, indeed.
Are we ready for the next hint then? Do you want to do the honors?
Yeah, we are ready. Again, this is meant to be tough, so I don't want to feel the proverbial rotten tomatoes thrown my direction, but here we go. And we'll certainly get this up on the website here fairly soon, so you can look at it and decide whether the edges of this mean anything. But we're sticking with the same kind of old English look, the handwritten look and the language. And I think everybody can probably read it on the screen, but memory serves me lightly of so ancient a fisherman, nor of the city he might have named between cast into the tempest sea. Perchance didst thou commit his name to quill and parchment, or dost thou recall aught else beyond his Orcadian kinship? Signed SJF.
Signed SJF. That very cryptic.
Right.
Interesting. So, I'll be curious to see what people say or what they think of this and what words matter, which words don't matter, where does it lead people. So I'm excited that the new hint is out and you get some fresh energy of like, all right, I might be one step closer honing in on where I think this is going to be.
Yeah, and for folks that are watching, I certainly appreciate some of the Discord stream of conscious. I know some people have been putting it in a public channel. Some people have been just privately messaging. I love to see, that people are engaged and having fun, but also to see, wow, like a couple of people came up with solves that I'm like, wow, that's really good. I never even thought that we could be pointing at that. They weren't right, but it is fun. Right. So please keep that coming. I can turn off my notifications if I'm busy, and I won't always respond instantly, but it has been a fun part of it. So keep that coming, even if it's just to vent and say, man, you don't like me, which is fine too.
Speaking of Discord and stream of consciousness, ask questions, Kraken in Discord asked a really good question. And they said, are the stages 1, 2, and 3 related in any way to stage 4, or for the most part, are they independent? You had a really good answer. And if people haven't gotten on Discord, I want to make sure that they've heard that answer. So if you want to kind of let everybody else know what you answered for Kraken.
Yeah. So, obviously the stages here, because it's a 10 stage hunt, the stages 1, 2, and 3 did not build on each other. They, 1 led into 2, 2 led into 3. As we get further on, certainly some of the stages will have some interplay between things you may or may not have caught in the earlier ones. Now, I'm not going to tell you if stage 4 is one of those, but it is certainly a big aspect of the hunt as we go through, leading through 5 through 10. So that's part of the challenge for our seekers here, is to go out and determine, do I need to go back and review stage one? That's why we put the solves out there. We don't hide any information. No matter when you join, you have access to the full gamut of pictures and discussion. So, you know, that's some more things for you to root through and decide this matters or this one doesn't.
Awesome. We had one other quick question that kind of came through. We've had a couple different people ask if the differences in handwriting from clue to hint and hint to hint matter. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and that's my own technical shortcomings there. So full disclosure, these have been generated. You know, I give a lot of prompts, but these have been generated with some AI technology, and it's been fairly challenging to get the systems to use the same paper from hint to hint to hint. So the handwriting in the paper is intended to be all the same. That is not one of the buried clues that, oh my gosh, we changed, you know, from a white background to a wooden desk. That does not matter. The edges don't matter. Who wrote it? It's all intended to be from the same person.
So more on the flavor side than the mechanical side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now the actual words, you know, some of those really do matter.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Was there anything else that you wanted to share with the audience before we head out? Well, this has been pretty fun. We've had some pretty good content in Discord and whatnot. So is there anything else that you wanted to share before we let everybody go off seeking?
No, I think happy hunting, and as said, we'll get the hint 2 released on their website here in probably the next 15 or 20 minutes. Okay.
Cool. I do have one other quick housekeeping thing before we leave.
Yeah.
I wanted to let everybody know that the fee to register is going to go from $20 to $30 after stage 4 is claimed. So if you're on the fence and you're just watching this, you haven't gotten registered and you're like interested, but you're not really sure, hop in sooner rather than later, because as soon as stage 4 is claimed and we're on to stage 5, the registration is going to go from 20 to 30. But again, that is for all the remaining stages. So you'll get access to stage 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the big one, 10, for that same $30. It's not every stage you have to pay an additional registration. It's one registration, 10 total chances to win. We are on chance 4 right now. So if this looks fun to you, it's gonna be. It's a lot of fun. But get registered, share it with your friends. You might have a hairdresser or a buddy that you think, like, this might be up your alley. Share it with them. You never know.
Yeah.
But on that note, I think we'll call it a day.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for setting it up, Mike, and happy hunting, everyone.
All right. Happy hunting. We'll see y'all.
All right.